is the staleness creeping in. I'm so sorry. It's just this way at the Dim Carnival.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dim Carnival. I'm Bill.
I'm Steve.
Are you sure?
Whoops.
And I'm Ryan.
Oh, fuck, I'm Steve. And this is the podcast where we talk about Insane Clown Posse. Thanks for listening. This week we are continuing our journey, our very exciting journey through the 6th Joker's card, the Wraith Shangri-La. And one thing I wanted to make sure that I mentioned, so I had talked before about what the liner notes look like, but I had failed to mention because I didn't have them right in front of me when I was talking about it. So I had mentioned that the booklet has Jay and Shaggy dressed like angels on a white billowy cloud background. Hell's Forecast, that page, is on a fire background. And also the very last inside page has Jay and Shaggy dressed like angels, but with Alex Abyss. And also they're dressed like angels, but they're holding like a chainsaw and an axe, and they're very cool. But the booklet is made to resemble a Bible or holy tome. So next to, like I mentioned that they have full lyrics for the first time on an ICP album. So it actually says who's doing a specific verse, which is cool. And then next to, like, it'll say, like, Shaggy Too Dope. And then, like, it'll say, for example, on It Rains Diamonds, it'll say Shaggy Too Dope. Kill me. What? Motherfucker. Murder. What? I can't fucking wait to die. Please murder my fucking motherfucking ass off. Bring it. Because I'm going to Shangril-La. So it transcribes, like, everything that they say, not just the actual lyrics. But next to where it says Shaggy Too Dope or Violent J, it will often have something in parentheses, like it's supposed to be some sort of annotation or footnote, or I think what they're going for is it's supposed to be, like, the Holy Scripture, like, verse. Like, like John 3:16 denotes the chapter and the line, or verse, of a specific, book of the Bible. Do I have that right, Steve? Is that how that works? Are they called verses?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Chapter and verse.
Crying.
Sorry.
Yes, chapter and verse. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
So, like, for the intro, or thy intro, of course, for the intro, it says Jump Steady, and then it does have all of his words from the intro written out, but it says Jump Steady, and then parentheses it says green wind and pearl white grass, lightning flashes deep within dark red forest, star showers book 4, chapter 90, love for once. So that's just an example of, and it does this like almost every time. It has and I do, so we had talked about Into the Light. We thought it was the Ringmaster. I was confused as to whether the high-pitched voice is the Ringmaster or just another employee or patron of the Dark Carnival. And it actually has that bit, that high-pitched bit, attributed to the Ring Leader.
Oh, okay. It says that also in the lyrics on Genius. And I thought I thought it was just a mistake on Genius.
It isn't.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So next to the Ringleader's thing, it says Diamond Twist into Magic Mist 222 Book of Wishes Lost, page 765, chapter 56. And then next to Shaggy Two Dope's verses following that, it says Black Orchid Flowers, verse yellow 9, Nostra Staleness, Time Traps. So like, it's made to resemble a Bible, but I guess like every single aspect of the words in the Bible are pulled from different things.
Wow.
Like wildly different things. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's super weird. Seems cool though.
Yeah, it's very creative.
I wonder if there's any kind of like rhyme or reason, or if it's just gibberish.
There is no zero rhyme nor reason.
But I mean, not that you could decipher necessarily, but whether it was Violent J or whomever, Jump Steady, this kind of seems like a kind of thing that Jump Steady would write.
So like on Welcome to the Show, when it says it has attributed to Juggalo chant at the end when they're saying, "When is your time? Death is near. Step right up on over here." Next to Juggalo chant, it says, "Puddles of Fago, let's with wet tits. It's forever raining diamonds on Shangri-La cities." So I guess it's just like asides. Sometimes it's citations and sometimes it's asides.
Okay.
Who knows? Who can say? I think it's both.
I like it.
For example, like in your Extreme Teen Bible or your New International Version or whatever, there'll be like footnotes where it'll like have like notes on the translation and stuff. Right, Steve? Can you tell us any more about that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking A.
I had this amazing new King James version. After the NIV came out, King James was like, hey, wait a minute. Young people are starting to like this NIV thing. So they came out with the new King James version, which was basically just the NIV version with the King James name on it. It's like New Coke. I don't think anyone liked it. And but mine was a study Bible. And it was like what Bill said. It would have all these notes and it would have like big, long, really not historically accurate stories about things that happened. It was awesome.
So I love the King James Bible because it's the reason the King James Bible exists is because the church was gonna like out King James for like having a bunch of gay lovers.
Right.
So he had to commission this Bible.
Well, he did it to occupy them. So that they wouldn't pay attention to him or like give him something else to focus on. Like, yeah, make this Bible.
It's a great story, but it sucks everything that came out of that.
Right.
Because it's led to a lot of really horrible things.
He's rolling in his grave.
So should we jump into the 4 tracks we're going to talk about this week? Namely, Blaam, It Rains Diamonds / Bitch Slappaz, The Staleness, and Hell's Forecast?
Yes.
I think we should. All
right, then. Let's talk about Blaam! And if you haven't listened to this song yet, go ahead and take a listen right now.
This lamp is all I get, a worthless piece of shit. But once I rubbed it clean, you're the lucky one. A genie popped on the scene, brought true my every dream. I was like, bring home, bring home, NyQuil,
So, guys, we had mentioned this in texts to one another, but this is very much a spiritual successor, if not. I don't know. I think it's a success. I think it's just a sequel or continuation to "I Want My Shit."
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Or is it a remake?
No.
Is it Mike P? Is it them saying like, "Hey, that one song we did with Mikey Clark was really great. Let's do it again."
It's all of the above because it's the Great Malenko. Wait, what's the first musical track off Great Malenko? Where he like, I met Malenko, he gave me 3 wishes, and he talks about what he did with those wishes. And then there's I Want My Shit, where he actually talks about what he really wants. Well, here we go. We put them all together. Get as many wishes. Apparently, you get a lot of wishes if you have a real magic lamp.
Yeah, and I was thinking about Malenko because we had talked about how Malenko isn't a genie; he's a djinn.
Oh, right.
And this genie in the lamp is actually a genie. And also, this isn't necessarily ICP, because if we'll recall, at the end of Birthday Bitches, anybody killer yells, "Story time!" Yeah. This is a great song, though. I love this song very much. I think it's very good. It's got a real Egyptian flavor at the beginning.
Okay, I love every song this week, so I'm really, really excited to talk about every single song this week. Great. They're all very, very good. But this one I fucking loved, and I never really liked this song before. I don't remember thinking anything about this song except for just like Shaggy softly singing "You're the lucky one" or whatever. That's the only thing that I remembered from this, and it's great. I love it.
So this is yet another example of them understanding that there's a difference between thy and thee, despite what the lyric booklet will have you believe. Because he says, "Hotties on thy nizzle, still a juggle-lizzle."
Yes, that's a great line.
It is.
So sorry, Bill, I kind of interrupted you, but yeah, you were saying that it's got this sort of Middle Eastern music going on, and it's essentially the story of what we talked about a lot on Bazaar. Jeez, I don't remember. Recent episodes, Steve was bringing up multiple times over a couple of different episodes this idea of ICP kind of now that they've made it and they're like complaining about being rich, basically. But it kind of made me think of that same thing. So it's a guy who his aunt passes away and he gets a genie lamp from her, and then he gets all of his wishes, so he becomes an affluent person. And then at the end he starts thinking about whether his life was better when he was poor.
Yeah. And I like that because so I feel like there are at least two distinct ways to read the last verse. Because he says, I remember when money was so thin, but dreams were all up in. Looking at the lamp, would I give it all back? Shit, give me that. And you can construe it based on the verse that the chorus that follows it. You can construe that as, would I give it all back? Give me that lamp because I'm going to give it all back. I'm going to wish for the simple things that I wished for in the first chorus. Or the way I've always read it is, would I give it all back? Shit, no. I'm going to wish for a bunch of more shit. And I think that is supported by anybody kill it delivering the moral of the story, which is those who never had shit and then get shit need to get shit. So if you got shit or you need shit, get some shit.
Go get your shit.
Yeah, it's very good.
And so if you want to distill that moral down, is Violent J is basically saying that it's okay to be greedy?
I think yes, but also like if you have the means to acquire things, fucking do it. Like if you want something or if you need something, just do it. Like to treat yourself, basically, is the moral.
Right. But and think of this too, because outside of all the murder that they like to do, this doesn't, if I'm not mistaken, this doesn't seem to make him a bad person either. Huh. He's just a person that had nothing and now he has stuff. And I like this better. I feel like this is more accurate to how the average human is, where Absolutely. They're like, you know, where I felt like, as you had mentioned, that I brought it up in other songs, other episodes, where I'm just like, I don't think they really feel bad or really want to go backwards. You might talk about it for a minute, and I feel like this song really expresses that. Shit.
Well, I think the difference between this song and Take Me Home and this song and I Want My Shit is that in Take Me Home and I Want My Shit is very clearly that it's ICP singing the song. This is supposedly a story about someone who had a gypsy aunt and got a lamp and became a king. And the choruses don't necessarily, like, the choruses could just be like ICP talking about like they'd wish for like NyQuil and hot wings and stuff. But the verses seem to be telling a story about someone who became a king, not necessarily ICP.
Yeah, it's just a story.
Mm-hmm.
But they're a juggalo.
Mm-hmm. Well, all I know is the platinum car has a tennis court and a bar.
That's my favorite line in the whole song.
Yes.
You know who I are.
Love it.
You know her. Yeah, I mean, I was like you, Ryan. I was like this actually for a lot of songs that we're going to cover, where back in the day, I don't know why I didn't feel a lot of these songs. And so I just had a few that I liked, and I just kind of didn't listen to this, I guess, as much. But listening to it this time through, I've just listened to these songs over and over now, and I know them really well anyways. but I enjoy them so much more. And I'm just like, how did I not like this? The song's great. They're so this and other songs. They're so layered with noises. I absolutely love. You've got to be listening to it on really good speakers or good headphones. There's so many sounds. Them just people randomly saying little things here and there, and that you could very easily miss. Like one of the things that I loved about this is in the chorus, how Shaggy is completely off on purpose, but is completely off on all of it. They already have a backup, like the hype person or the hype group, and then he's like being the second hype person.
I loved what you compared it to.
Monorail. Yeah. It's just like the Monorail song, though. But I love it, though. It's so great. And at the end, if you really listen, they like Violent J screaming over it. Other people are yelling things, and you can still hear him really fade in the background. Half pipe.
Yeah.
Like, under all this noise, I love it. It's so great.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it actually helps me to understand what the words are to get to hear each one 3 times.
Yeah.
And usually it's Shaggy bringing up the rear where I'm like, oh, that's what they're saying.
Yeah. Half pipe.
But I actually
do you think that Jay or Shaggy have ever been on a skateboard in their lives?
Okay, I was going to ask that same question. When have these dudes ever talked about skating? To bring up a half pipe in this context it seems so random.
That's why it's a story. It's not.
Were they in one of those Tony Hawk Pro Skaters? Did they ever make it into one of those video games?
No, just the backyard wrestling game.
Just backyard wrestling.
Hey, Bill, do you remember the conversation we had about this years ago?
Vaguely.
I just remember you thinking like saying like they were just trying to think of like what cool things people find interesting nowadays. And so you just came up with a half pipe. Like, people skateboard nowadays.
Another thing I was thinking about, speaking of cool things, so then I was thinking about, especially during this track, because it's very rocking. The choruses, like a lot of guitars. They got live drums on this track that are played by Lil Pig from Zug Island. And I was thinking about like with the exception of the Slaughterhouse. Well, so the first 2 ICP albums, the first 2 Joker's cards, there's really no rock to be found or rap rock. They're just hip hop albums. And then the Slaughterhouse mix of Chicken Huntin' is where they really start bringing it in. But it seems to me like, and it may sound like I'm making some sort of judgment here, but I'm really not. But it seems like as sort of alternative and new metal and different types of music came to the forefront, they sort of adapted them a little bit more as time went on. 'Cause I feel like in recent years, a lot of like the ciphers and other stuff that you'll see them post online or that you've seen them do, I feel like it's really gotten much more back to hip hop roots. And I think that's like partially in conjunction with like the rise of SoundCloud rap, and like they've signed Ouija Mac, and he's very much part of that. But I just feel like, although they have always just done things their own way, I feel like there is some aspect of ICP that's always sort of stayed at least a little bit in line with what's happening in popular music. I just feel like, as certain bands and certain sounds came to the forefront, they would lean a little bit more or less on rock at any given moment.
That's very astute, Bill.
Yeah. I mean, am I incorrect here?
No.
Nope.
I think so I don't know all the albums off the top of my head that will come right after this. Just speaking solely of ICP, other than just Hell's Pit and then the Calm EP, I feel like that they stopped kind of doing the rap rock sound or the rock. I could be totally wrong. Maybe it's just the Calm. I feel like the Calm, when it came out, like I don't remember there being any rock guitar on any of those songs, and it is an EP, but it doesn't stand out to me as being like a rap rock album. It sounds just more like hip hop to me. Mm-hmm. And I always kind of interpreted that as like they're going in a different direction, and like the guitar died with Hell's Pit.
I Nice.
I thought that it was really excellently done. Sometimes, and I criticized Blaze's album or whatever for not feeling like it went really well. The music, the guitars, and in this case, I feel like it's perfect, and it really contributes to the mood and the tone of the chorus. Makes it a really fun song.
There are a couple songs on there that I actually like the chorus better than the verses. And I don't know that I've ever said that about any ICP or rap song in general, because rap is about the verses.
Yeah. Nice.
I have one thing I want to ask you guys. I was trying to think about who is Shaggy 2 Dope in the verse part. Who's that? At first, I always assumed that it was his conscience.
I was thinking it was just like the world or like bystanders or like people who know him. Like, oh, you're so lucky, man.
Well, I guess I had always assumed that it was his conscience.
It could also be the genie.
I thought, okay, so that's what I thought, is maybe it's the genie. And then that actually led to me having a different read from what you were talking about earlier, Steve, about the repetition of the things in the chorus. To me, it was almost like Jay stating what he wanted, and then his hype team like repeating it, and then the genie coming through and pointing at it and being like, here it is.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, that is cool.
I prefer, and now that's how I'm gonna. That's canon.
Yeah, that's what I'm just stupid.
No. But I do also one last quick thing here. So to point out how dense these liner notes are, at the bottom of every page, which is a track, they have credits for the track. As you should. Like, talks about Mike P did everything and Lil Pig played the drums, but then on this track it says, the initial track was recorded at the Lotus Pod studio in Detroit, Michigan. The fresh organ keyboard and all the vocals. Well, how is that not the initial track? Okay, so the initial track. So all the initial music was recorded in Detroit at the Lotus Pod, and the fresh organ keyboard and all the vocals were later dropped into the mix at Maxi Media Studios in Dallas, Texas. We missed that one fresh big ass tree out back behind the studio. We spent many a night smoking and taking studio breaks, chilling under that fresh ass tree.
I want to see an ash tree.
Good. Anything else for Blaam? I really like this track.
Yeah, it's
Loved
fun.
it. Loved it.
So much fun.
I liked thinking about the genie moving fast because he's wishing so much. Genie's like, God damn.
Gotta start calling Waffle House Dub H now.
Dub H. Because we go to a Waffle House so often.
Violent J says it so matter-of-factly, very softly in the background.
So let's move on to the next track, which is a 2-for-1, which is a little bit interesting. But it goes back to what we were talking about earlier of it's a tour through what you can expect to find from Shangri-La. So everything's tumbled and jumbled and things are coming at you real fast because they only got so much time to show you all the wonderful things that you're in store for. So we gotta get through this. We're on a time crunch. Not like this podcast. So It Rains Diamonds and Bitch Slappaz. If you haven't listened to this combo of tracks yet, go ahead and take a listen right now.
Have you ever been to the wicked part of town and would you go again? They don't want you there. Would you follow me? If I knew where it rains diamonds, no more poverty. As clean as we can be. It rains diamonds nightly. My days are darling brightly. To this so inviting.
Guys, how you feel about It Rains Diamonds? I love the intro of I love the music when it starts out, like the and I fucking love the sentiment, which is basically the polar opposite of the I'll murder my ass right now and I still won't motherfucking die, like that
Right.
That thing that they did, I don't remember if that was Tilt-A-Whirl or what. But Shangril-La being so awesome that Shaggy 2 Dope's like, will someone fucking please murder me because I cannot wait to die. And it very subtly reinforces suicide isn't cool with them. but also just like that's such like it's funny, but like I feel like it's not read as like having a death wish being inoffensive because it's coming from a place of such pure joy.
Yeah, I wonder why more Christians specifically don't just want to die right away.
Seriously. Some do.
No, a
Some
lot
do.
of Christians.
Yeah, some
No,
do.
I don't know. I guess those usually are the ones who.
They want to die, but they can't kill themselves because that's a mortal sin and go to a bad place. Yeah.
I
I
fucking
binge watched The Good Place. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, it's a great
Oh,
show.
so good.
I fucking love this song.
It's great.
It's so good. And I remember, I guess it would have been seeing them maybe when we saw them in San Jose with Pete, where I probably got to see them play this song for the first time live. And I have this. It's another one of those songs that I have in my mind. I don't know if it's just if my memory is accurate or not, of like the strobe with all the Faygo spraying everywhere, and it looks like fucking diamonds falling from the sky. You know, so rad. And I love the guitars. I love the effect that's on Jay's voice.
Yeah.
It just sounds so rad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the story is cool too.
Mm-hmm.
He brings up like a lot of cool points about like maintaining your hope in the face of adversity, and acknowledging like greed and selfishness, and you know what better things could we hope to experience. It's cool.
I like ICP songs that are hopeful.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, there's a lot of like Christian imagery without being exact Christian imagery, and I think it's really smart the way they did it. And it's like someone was like kind of like either listening to a preacher on TV, or you know, instead of like streets of gold, it rains diamonds. And it's like it's heaven in lots of different ways. It even is like brought on by an apocalypse, which, you know, Christians have that as well. But it's just different, and I love how different it is, but yet familiar. And then like how at the end Jump Steady saying diamonds drift upon the mist of forgetfulness. Like, well, I just like this idea. I mean, like, I feel like, again, they've listened to preachers and talk about like saying, like when you've given, like you've truly given your life to God or Jesus or whatever, that like all your sins and everything you've ever done gets thrown into the sea of forgetfulness or something. It's not that, but it's very similar to that, forgetfulness. I forget exactly how it's termed now but and so it still brings up like imagery of church stuff to me, but like in its own way. And I don't know. I think it's funny. Like I felt like my first instinct when I listened to this was that, oh, he's just trying to string together a bunch of like poetic stuff that just kind of sounds silly. But like when I start really looking at what he's saying, it's like, like it's actually pretty cool. So I didn't give this song very much credit back in the day. I always just laughed at like, oh, are they on Neptune or Jupiter? Because it rains diamonds on one of those planets. Yeah, because of the atmospheric pressure and all, and like what's in the carbon.
I was not aware.
Yeah, there's a planet that it actually. Hell, dude, the whole one of the biggest things to the book 2061 is that there is a giant diamond on Europa. Did not did not think that series of 2001 and 2010 would go such a different direction the way 2016 did.
Turns out it's all about blood diamonds.
Yes, in a way, yes. Yeah. When the monolith turned Jupiter into a mini sun and they named it Lucifer in book 2, shards of diamond went like blasting through the solar system, and a huge chunk of it landed on Europa finally after years and years of being in orbit.
What about the chunks on Uranus? Guys, we've talked about it many times before on this podcast, but how do you feel about, because Violent J is definitely singing his verses, how do you feel about how Shaggy does with the singing in this track?
I like the guitar.
he does all right.
Yeah, he does better than like, thank you, Jay.
Oh, yes. Right. He's come a long way. He's been getting some singing lessons, I bet.
Or they just worked on this for like fucking, they weren't like, come on, our contract's almost up. We got to finish this up.
There are also live drums on this song, and they sound amazing.
I like the turn of phrase, come stand mountaintop and yell.
I never knew what the lyrics were until actually kind of actively disliked the chorus to this song. I've always liked the verses and the music, but I just was never super into the chorus. But now I'm listening to it, I do really like it.
Steve, how do you feel about this chorus? I know you just said that you liked the last chorus a lot. You like
I like this chorus. It's like it is so much what I would think I wouldn't like in a song. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, maybe partly because of the lyrical content or just like the positiveness of the whole thing, I just like it. It just sounds cool to me. It's emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Where sometimes I feel like a lot of their emotional stuff is forced, and I just don't feel like this one's forced. Like it actually makes me emote in the way it wants me to emote,
right?
Instead of with anger.
I feel like this song has more heart to it, and especially including Anybody Killa and Blazy Dead Homie is on this too, right? I don't. His name's not in the.
No, they're on Bitch Slappaz.
I don't know. Well, I think on Genius it's credited as Anybody Killa, but there's a line where they say, "Don't you fire it up? Does this mean you wasted life? Now you're completely fucked." And then I think it's Blaze says, "I would differ some."
Oh yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
That was right. I like that part.
Yeah. Shall we go ahead?
One other point is I can't remember I think it's one of the Bazaars. The final track I talked about how I was worried that when the 6 Jokers card came out that it would be a mass suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a line here to Fire in the Sky, together we will die. And so, even though it didn't end up being a mass suicide thing, I feel like they were kind of leaning towards the same idea. It was more of like an emotional death, maybe.
Yeah.
No, I thought I still, to me, that just leads back to the apocalypse. Like, the Juggalos are going to be together in like a holy war to lead into going to Shangri-La. I don't see that. Maybe I don't see that as kind of being a suicidal thing or suicidal-esque because I was raised to believe that the apocalypse is going to come and we're all going to go to heaven. That belief like me. So, yeah.
Well, it's what the French refer to as the little death.
L'incompetent.
That's how it's said. Shall we move on to the second half of this song?
Yeah.
Bitch Slappaz.
To the early morning. Come on. 6 in the morning, police at my door. Already gotta slap some more. Stuck my hand out through the mouth chute. Bitch slap sergeant is first recruit. I came out the ass. Bitch slap son, grade school, high school. Bitch slap with guns. I remember getting baptized by the reverend. Bitch slapped the Bible out of his hand. The bitch slap.
Okay, so I got some things, some thoughts about this song. First thought is, and I've known this for a while, this track is a supreme trunk rattler. It is so thumpy in a very, very good way. It's very fun to listen to. You're in your car.
It's got those old school bumps.
It's got the sweeps and the creeps. What I enjoy about this song is the conceit of the song. So yes, Bitch Slappaz, very problematic. This whole song's about how ICP and Blaze bitch slap people. And terrible terminology, awful thing to say, awful thing to think about. Literally though, what the song is about is how good they are at slapping people.
Mm-hmm.
And how they're innovators of slapping people, and they're so good and revolutionary and dope at slapping people that everyone else has started biting their style of how to slap people. And that could be seen as if it were any other band in the world, like the thought of that would be figurative. Like, oh, people are biting how we figuratively slap people. but ICP is this is very literal. Like, they're like, we're so good at slapping things with our flat, open hands that I can slap the concept of truth out of the concept of fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so good at it that now everyone else in the world has started slapping things too. And that is absolutely high concept hilarity. It's like getting the highest concept possible thing out of the lowest concept possible thing, which is great.
Bill, I could never have said it better myself.
I mean, did you guys get that, or am I just being a weirdo?
No, you're completely right on, man. Absolutely. You nailed it. And so did they. It's a minute. The song is like 60 seconds long.
Yeah.
It's maybe 61 seconds long. And it's great. Top to
Blaze
bottom.
is very good on this song.
Slapping planes out the sky. He's great.
He says, what did he say? He says, something
Don't
about,
let me show up on TRL.
shit, I can't find it. He just says like every single something more fucking slappable. Like, I don't know. I like that part. Anyway.
That's it. That's Shaggy. That's a Shaggy lyric.
Oh, well, hell. There you go. All right. Further thoughts on this track, guys? What do you think about, after further thoughts on Bitch Slappaz, tell me what you think about the fact that this is 60 seconds tacked on to the end of It Rains Diamonds.
Well, specifically to speak to that, I think it's so that, because if I'm not mistaken, there are 17 tracks on this album.
Oh, yeah. That's
So,
why.
Technically, 17 tracks.
We had to fudge a little. Everybody loves fudge.
But they got everybody on the track, and they all sound great together. It sounds like they're having a lot of fun. And then at the end, when they're all doing it, rap it together, it just seems like how could you not put this on the album, man? It's such a big group hug song, and it's a funny concept, and they nailed it. Like you said, if you can excuse the specific term that they're using, it's a really funny idea. Yeah, it's great. Loved it.
Let me just, I don't know
specifically
if it says
when he slaps the cop's nuts through the mail slot. Right in the first verse, it's great.
Yeah. What a great visual.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the Halloween track about the lady flicking Violent J's nuts through the.
Oh, right.
I mean, if a joke's good, just use it. Steve, final thoughts on the track?
I always liked this. It always made me laugh, chuckle, guffaw. Yeah, and the music's great. I love to hear you talk about it bumping. I love this idea of you like driving around town just like with your whole car rattling because it's bassed out.
Yeah,
and you're bumping ICP.
That's awesome. Exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's very fun.
I'm not saying I love that. I love to visualize. Sometimes I lay in bed at night for hours thinking about that.
Lady, you're weird. All right, let's move on to the Staleness, which is... Oh, I'm so excited to talk about. If you haven't taken a listen to the Staleness, stop what you're doing, because it's about to ruin the flavor and the style that you're used to. So pause this and listen to the Staleness like 8 times right now.
Got me. Laid there playing dead, and when he checked my pockets, I jabbed my fucking thumb knuckle deep in his eye sockets. By now there was guards everywhere. I'm steady cutting heads off, surfing on a wheelchair, and too many bullets finally put me away. But was it the real Violent J? Let me make your baby go. I wanna it's like
Guys, killer clowns, huh? Holy shit. So it took them fucking 20 years, but they sampled several lines from Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is very good.
It's like they saved it for the best for last. It was brilliant.
They definitely did.
Yeah, it was brilliant. They're like, no, let's sit on that.
Holy shit, guys, how good is this fucking song?
I'm going to go ahead and say right now, best song on the album for me. This is my number 1 song on the album. Absolutely loved it.
How about cutting your own throat? I did 17 times. Why do you think I talk like this? I'm gonna see if they list in the credits who that smooth ass voice is.
My guess is Legs Diamond.
Yeah, additional voices performed by Mike P, Sin, Legs Diamond, and Lil Pig.
Yeah, my guess is Legs.
Yeah, it's probably.
I feel like Shaggy goes first.
I need to cut you off at the windpipe desperately.
Okay, so this song is about, correct me if I'm wrong,
Mhm.
this song is about ICP directly addressing their fans, their fan base, or the Fairweather fans who came on board when, during the Malenko era or whatever, or maybe came on since then, since they started becoming popular, because there's this big backlash against ICP around this time because Mikey Clark had left and people were saying that it was the same old stuff. And so that's what I feel like this song is like Violent J basically saying a big fuck you to the haters and writing this fucking rad song that's not really about anything. And then apologizing for doing his thing, giving a half-ass apology for it.
Yep, that's exactly what I thought.
Nice.
They're like, I'm sorry, I'm so stale, but it's almost sarcastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's a very sarcastic chorus, and they're very good at making choruses sarcastic. There are two of maybe the best moments that have ever appeared in an ICP song in this song. The first is, what makes you so special you can escape the... You mean Wraith? I said Wraith. Now shut down. Your windpipe. So, and what makes that even better is in the lyric booklet, it says, what makes you so fucking special you can escape the wrath. You mean Wraith? I said wrath.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Also, and then the second thing, which is one of the most perfect moments of any ICP song, after this amazing fucking verse of Violent J escaping from a mental institution.
This is the best Violent J verse. This is amazing. It's an incredible verse.
At the end of this unstoppably good verse, he says, too many bullets finally put me away. And then there's a twist. But was it the real Violent J? And then the organ is
the
the coolest
organ
shit that's ever happened.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's so fucking good. It's so good. His whole verse, though, is so fucking good. The whole story.
Fucking jab my thumb knuckle deep in his eye sockets.
There's a couple, I noticed that on this album, there's a couple knuckle deep lines. That must have been something that was big in that day.
I could have grabbed a gang of formaldehyde.
Yes.
Yeah.
His flow on this verse is pristine. It's as good as Violent J can do. So I think this is really some of his best work, where the lyrical content, the flow, everything goes together. It's mega, mega crisp. Shaggy's verse is great, but I feel like it's just a amuse-bouche or whatever. Like, it's just like getting you warmed up. And then Violent J just fucking murders your face with this fucking glorious, glorious verse. That organ stamp at the end just fucking puts it over the top, man.
I've always loved him saying masturbated on myself and leaped out the window instead of jumped. I don't know why, but I've always really enjoyed, he could have said jumped. He said it's in his brother's name, but
steady cutting heads off, surfing on a wheelchair.
Yep. It's so funny because Steve and I wrote a Halloween prequel before this album came out, and the Michael Myers escape from the mental institution kind of goes like this, except for him surfing on a wheelchair.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's just it's sort of like Violent J tapped into our brains for a second.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to point out that there is actually a Genius note on here, and the guy says many fans thought they were growing stale around 2002. ICP are sorry for this, but they're still sticking to their murderous subject matter. So there it goes. That's almost word for word.
How are you going to give me a straight jacket when I'm crooked?
Well done, sir.
That is wordplay that any rapper would be proud of. And it was Violent J.
I know, and I felt bad for Shaggy, because I thought when it hits, Shaggy his line is awesome. His whole verse is great. He's great on it, and then all of a sudden, Violent J's like rapping better than he's ever rapped in his life.
Yes.
Right.
You know, and it's just like,
You can't catch a break.
The wet cabbage chop sound when he's chopping that guy in the neck and his little like wispy gurgles or whatever. So, compared to, I actually went back and listened to episode 1 recently, and we were talking about the sound effects and how bad they were.
Oh,
so
they're really worse.
They've really come a long way with the soundscape.
It was like someone found a tape of a 1940s gunshot sound in a flooded basement. That's how bad the sound effects were. Anything else to say about the Staleness, or should we move on? It's just so good, guys. And this isn't even the song where Shaggy cuts holes in the wall with his dick phaser.
I guess I just want to say, murderin' be giving me a calm.
God damn, such a good turn of phrase.
Love it.
It kills the pain.
And when it's like,
yeah, it's all good. It's all good. This song couldn't be better.
Agree. Really great noodling from the guitar at the end, and also some terrific scratching. I don't know if that's Two Dope that's giving us the cuts.
Oh, I can tell you. But keep talking.
I love it. And then as it sounds like we are getting ready to transition to the next song, we get right at the end, Isham comes in, right? And is this when he's talking about how he was on the first Joker's card and the last?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Isham makes his first appearance here.
Yeah.
And he will come back in a minute, and it'll be good as well. It doesn't say. I think it was just Mike P that did it. The scratchety datchities. All right. Let's talk about Hell's Forecast, shall we? If you haven't listened, take a listen right now.
Something had woke me, a thump on my roof. It was followed by crashing, more thumping ensued. I jumped out of my bed thinking I'd been invaded. Heard smashing, more pounding, the sound escalated. Looked out of my window, blood dripped down the glass. I see bodies lay twisted and mangled on grass. I read.
So the concept of this song is that it is the one glimpse of Hell's Pit that you're going to get here in Shangri-La, and they're not going to dive into it because they just want you to know that there's some bad stuff happening down there. But before you get too used to being scared of it, we're going to get back to the good stuff.
Yep. That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm. This is a song that I would always skip when I would listen to this album. But I like it certainly a lot better now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was never a huge fan of this song. I definitely liked it much better this time listening through.
If it wasn't called Hell's Forecast, I think calling it Hell's Forecast and like explicitly stating like this is the one vision of hell that you're going to get, I think tips the hand a little bit. I think that if this were on another Joker's card and you got the reveal, like, cause it's a cool, like, and maybe I'm like, that's probably being unfair to the track of like, oh, well, I mean, you just told us like it's supposed to be a big reveal at the end, but like we already knew what was going on heading into the song. But like if it was on any other Joker's card and you're like, oh my God, it's raining dead bodies on my house. Oh no, I'm the one who's dead. Oh no. It was me all along that was dead.
Yeah. I mean, so here's the thing. I like the concept. I like all the storytelling and the imagery. I don't particularly care for like the aspects of the song, like the music and the chorus. It never really did anything for me. But I like what it is, and I understand why it's on the album, and I really like that. So I'm really glad that it's here, and I like how it fits into, it's a piece of this puzzle or whatever of this album. It's just not my favorite song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually liked the chorus. I wanted to like come away from this song with giving it something positive. The verses, they're scary, whatever. But I like the chorus because it does something that is very ICP-esque that I always end up loving. And so with this being all serious and like, oh, we're in hell, Shaggy's still going, la-dee-dee-dee-dee, la-da-dee, dead bodies. Like, yeah. I like that. And that made me like the chorus a lot.
That's very good.
And so, Yeah, this was one of those songs in Point. I was saying that I ended up liking the chorus better than the verses.
I also like Violent J's weirdo singing verse.
The bridge. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. High point of the song for me, for sure.
All right. Sweet. I guess there's not a lot to say about that.
I was burning.
I do really like the beat of the song, and I love that. Yeah, the blood is appalling line is another one that I wrote out. And so then I guess, do you guys feel like there's anything interesting about this concept, like of maybe trying to read into some of this imagery as to like what Violent J is assuming is his own priorities, are almost, or you know, if Hell's Pit is a personal place where that you fall into to experience your own personal horror. His starts with his version of hell is basically the destruction of his neighborhood. It does include, like, he sees his friends have died and he sees all this suffering. But at the end, once all the rain of bodies finally ends, because he like takes shelter and waits it out, and then he goes out and it's just like piles of bodies everywhere, and his whole neighborhood is just destroyed. And that's when he realizes, or that's when the Wraith appears, you know.
Wraith.
The Wraith.
Yeah, that's very, very astute. Is that all our thoughts on Hell's Forge?
There's some cool alarms going off in the background. There's like a car alarm or a fire alarm and explosions and other cool sounds that I thought were fun to listen to.
I mean, like I said, it's a song that I would always skip, and now I appreciate it much more than I did back in the day. But still, it's not. I wouldn't say it's a low point or a weak point. It's just, I mean, it came right after the staleness, man. Right. I guess this is the, you know, when you put a wrestling card together, you can't have too many hot matches all in a row. You gotta bring the crowd down a little bit. You gotta have a cool off match, and that's what this is.
For sure.
The staleness was too fresh. Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening. We always appreciate it. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. 5 stars only. The other ones don't work. You can email us at dimcarnival@gmail.com. You can check us out on Twitter and Instagram at dimcarnival. And until next time, I'm Bill.
Wait, Bill.
What?
What's our assignment for next week?
Oh, sorry. Well, next week we're gonna listen to another 4 little tracks. Maybe you've heard of them. Maybe you've heard of these little ditties. You're gonna listen to Juggalo Homies, Ain't No Business, and Supervillains, which is another 2-for-1. We Belong, and Cotton Candy and Popsicles, which I'm sure Steve's gonna love. So we got 2 weeks left, depending on how things go. But those are the next 4 tracks you gotta listen to for next week. And then I already did the sign off. So we're excited for next week, and we hope you are too, because we got some real good tracks to talk about. But until next time, I'm Bill.
I'm Steve.
Brian.
Before I cut myself, this was my voice. That reminded me of like when Donald Duck takes like the throat pills or the throat blaster, and he talks all super
Daisy.
smooth, and he's like, Daisy, my sweet. You guys ready to tape 2 episodes?
Yeah.
Unless you rip some big old juicy.
That's not me.
I'm smoking in the house.
No,
guys.
I know it's not you, Steve. You're smoking in the house.
I'm smoking in my bedroom.
Smoking in the bedroom. Wow, I guess weed makes me really funny. Because that was not very funny, but thank you.
I don't know. I thought it was great.
You guys fucking busted a gut there.
It was a
Maybe
great
that could be
impression.
the stinger.
It was a good impression.